Well, there was some trolling that you did. You had a picture with a gay male porn star, and then you guys were videoed out walking together. But that was April 1st.
It was all April Fool's.
So it was all fake.
Yeah.
Would you do a scene with a transgender?
No.
Would you do a scene with a gay man?
No. It's even more of a no.
So absolutely not.
Nah, I would say that there is approximately a 0 chance of me doing either of those things before I die.
Because, I mean, I used to interview a lot of adult film stars back in the day, and they used to say that like 80% of male porn stars are bisexual. Would you say that's true, or is that just...
I would say that's not true at all, but I would say that there was probably like a time in porn where it was much more normal for dudes to do both. You have to also remember that there was a time in porn where almost everybody doing porn was like a decrepit weirdo. Like, I've been reading this book about the history of porn, and it's like back in the day there were no like hot chicks doing porn. It was like fat fucking women.
No, you're bugging. When? What, the 60s?
I'm talking about the 60s.
Okay,
yes.
Yeah, all right.
There was a time period where it was
by the time the 80s rolled around, forget it.
By the time you get to the 80s and 90s, that's when, like, you know, because that's why somebody like Jenna Jameson like rocked the fucking nation, because it's like people hadn't really seen a chick that hot doing porn. You know, it really stood out to people. Now, when you look at porn, there's all kinds of chicks who are like super attractive doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I feel like there are a handful of male porn stars that I know, and I have like a cool friendship with them, and then at some point I'll just like see a photo of them fucking a dude in the ass, and I have to kind of like recalibrate my assumptions about them. But you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, I remember I had Terrence Gangster Williams on my show recently.
He's gonna be like, "Why are you bringing my name up right after you're talking about gay porn?"
Well, we were talking about all the gay stuff that happens in prison. He was locked up for like 27 years. And he was saying how older inmates would like trick guys into doing gay stuff with them. And one of the ways is they'd be like, "Hey man, your hand can't be gay." I said, "I'm never going to prison. I'm never going to prison."
I feel like there's a lot of dudes who get into doing porn just because they're well endowed and it's a good source of money. So they're like, shit, I can make 20, 30, 40, 50 grand a month doing this shit. Fuck,
wait. They make how much?
Well,
like how much? Okay, it's like I remember back in the day, a guy would get about $1,000 to do a scene.
Right, but then you enter into the OnlyFans era, and now a lot of these dudes might have, you know, a very serious amount of followers on OnlyFans, and even straight dudes, because like I follow one dude I know who has an OnlyFans, and it's just him fucking different chicks all the time, and it's like I enjoy tuning in to see who he's shooting with, you know. So it's like,
right.
But I would say that like there's some dudes who are doing it just because they're good at it and there's money involved. And then there's some dudes who are just really, really, really horny, up to and including being bisexual, or just being down to do it. Because I know guys who've started OnlyFans, and then all of a sudden they're like, and like dudes who are like fully straight their whole life, and all of a sudden they're sucking dildos and putting their fingers in their butt and all kinds of wild shit, just because that's what dudes want them to do on OnlyFans. And apparently they don't have the integrity, or I guess it's not integrity if you're just like down to do it. But like, you know, myself, even if I had OnlyFans and somebody was like, put your fingers in your ass, I'm like, no. But like some of these dudes, they need the money and they don't like really have that big of an objection to it. So I've seen dudes who seem like they're totally heterosexual, and then they start OnlyFans, all of a sudden they're jerking some dude off on there. And it's always kind of weird to see that transition.
Well, Pinky Doll, the yes, yes, yes girl, Ice Cream So Good, says she's down to do a scene, but she wants a few million.
Yeah, a lot of people really overpricing themselves these days. I know you deal with this sometimes with interviews, but she was somebody who, like, when she first started blowing up, and people are probably going to forget, but she's this attractive chick from, I believe, Toronto, and she was doing TikToks where she would basically act like an NPC. Ice Cream So Good. Ice Cream So Good. Like, a lot of people... probably have already forgotten about this because it was a big thing online for like 2 weeks. But when that shit came out, she already had all kinds of porn videos on her fucking Twitter and shit.
She does?
Yes. And
she has porn videos?
With her boyfriend, I believe. And so me and Lena figured this out pretty quickly. And so Lena starts swimming up in her DMs and just being like, hey, like we should shoot together. Me and Adam, we'd be down to come to Canada, yada, yada. And she wasn't trying to do it because I feel like, she's blowing up. I think the only guy that she's ever shot with is her boyfriend, so she probably wasn't really trying to shoot with me anyway. But now that whole clout is kind of running out, so I feel like now she's a little bit more open-minded to the idea of doing the porn thing. However, obviously it's not worth $1 million, especially when you've already got porn out there. Even 100,000 is like ridiculous. Like, I think even if I had a full, well, I don't want to say that. If I had a full quality porn video with Pinky Doll, I bet that would be worth 100,000 plus, but it's not worth $1 million plus.
Yeah, I was looking it up. I can't find anything.
I think that she probably invested in having a lot of that content scraped from the internet, but she was definitely out here getting down at one point.
Well, right, because remember, in all her videos, she's very light-skinned.
Yeah.
Almost your complexion.
Yeah.
And then when you saw her at some award show, she was really brown-skinned. People are like, what the hell just happened?
I think a lot of guys are blind to the fact that not only do girls do filters on their photos, but there's a shitload of filters that you can use on videos as well. So, like, anytime you see videos of the Kardashians or any of these, like, super famous chicks, I mean, they've got filters on it. And it's like, a lot of dudes are kind of oblivious to that. But for sure, there's a lot of, like, skin lightening filters being used, and guys are just over here in the dark until they meet up with them in real life.
Yeah, I wonder why. I mean, she's a pretty girl regardless.
Yeah, I thought she's hot either way.
I thought that that almost hurt her. Because at this point, I remember when she was everyone was talking about her, and I think, like, Nicki Minaj was doing, like, kind of like a impression of her and
Kai
stuff like that.
Cenat was doing an imitation of her. All the top
Emily
people.
Chopper did a video with her, and then she was getting, like, a Fashion Nova set of ads that you saw everywhere. You don't really hear about her anymore.
It's so hard to keep that viral momentum going when you're a person that just kind of comes out of nowhere and has all this hype about you. So I'm not surprised that people are talking about her a lot less, but I do think that there's a lesson to be learned there, which is, like, when you are having your viral moment, a lot of times I'll see people who are kind of having a viral moment and they'll be real active, doing stuff, doing interviews, being out, doing collabs for like a week or two. And then they'll be like, oh no, I'm going to like fall back. And it's like, in my head, it's like, you're going to fall back and everybody's going to forget about you. Like, if you have that momentum, you got to really seize that moment, because the culture moves so fast now that probably half the people watching this right now don't know who we're talking about.
Well, yeah, and for some people it works out. Bad Baby, she turned into a legit musical career. She had a bunch of songs that reacted. I'm not going to say she's a great rapper, but she has a lot of songs that reacted.
But when you look at her YouTube now and you see the way that her music doesn't do anything, it really makes me feel like, oh, she had the Atlantic Records Clout infusion.
Oh, the machine?
package. And I have that memory, too, of when I dropped my single on Atlantic with TK and Blockboy JB, of just sitting there and watching the views come in and the comments, and just watching it and being like, no.
This is fake. You got fake streams.
I think everybody signed to a major record label pretty much gets the fake stream infusion at a certain point. And even the people who are legitimately, like, really popular, they're still going to buy, like, if you have 1 million plays on a song, it feels like the labels are still going to buy you a couple 100,000 to just juice it up. And I mean, I've sat in label meetings with people from labels who managed, huge rappers, who told me, we got that guy's career off the ground by buying a shitload of plays on that song, and that caused the playlist to pick it up. And I'm talking about artists who you would have a hard time believing that any part of their come up was fake, because they ended up being so legitimately popular. But a lot of times this is just how they get it off the ground.